Hello and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. Today I had a letter from a company that I put a website that I put my cartoons up on called CartoonStock. There'll be a link in the description below for it. And they every month or so they send me a newsletter telling me what are the cartoons that people are most looking for. And of course, top of that pile is at the moment going to have to be COVID. I haven't done a COVID cartoon for quite a while, so I thought, well, I'll do a bit of both. I'll give you a tutorial and also show you how I produce an editorial cartoon like the one you've got in front of you now. Now, there are various forms of editorial cartoons. The Americans do them vastly different to the way the British do, but my cartoons appear to be a crossover between the two. They're loosely drawn and they're done with Sharpies rather than a brush or a dip pen. So that's what we'll talk about today. As always, please subscribe, hit the like button, what have you, and any comments, leave them in the box below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, let's do some drawing, shall we? Right, like I say, this is an editorial cartoon, my style editorial cartoon. I used to do loads of them for local newspapers, but because it's editorial and therefore different to the sort of cartoons I normally do, I thought I wanted to keep them loose and a lot fresher and a lot less inhibited, should I say. So rather than doing them with a brush or a dip pen, which requires quite a lot of discipline, shall we say, I thought I'd ink them with Sharpies. So that's the difference between my editorial cartoons and my graphic novel illustrations or single panels or cartoon strips or whatever else I do. So that said, the process is still the same, just sort of working off shapes and what have you. And this particular cartoon is about COVID. So much of that going on at the moment, and there's a large need, I believe, for a lot of COVID cartoons. I tend not to be vicious with my cartoons. I tend just to sort of point out the absurd, and that's pretty much what I do in the cartoons. I've not really speeded the picture up much at all. It starts off at 100%. I think I put this one out at about 125, so this is not far off the speed I actually draw at anyway. So whilst we go through the pencil stage, I'll let you have a little bit of a listen to some music, and you can study a bit more of what it is that I do, and I'll come back in if something occurs to me as usual. Okay, so we're coming to the end of it now, and I'm just putting in the borders. Once again, the difference between these cartoons and everything else that I do is it's a lot looser. Normal cartoons I'd actually work everything out to the exact sizes and what have you. Here I'm just loosely drawing it, very much like a lot of the cartoon strips like BC, for argument's sake. They were drawn loosely by hand, and I kind of like that feel. Sometimes my cartoons are portraits, sometimes they're landscape. I've produced another one which will be the subject of another video soon, and that's also about COVID, but that one is landscape. So as you can see here, with the Sharpie, it is a lot easier to draw, or to ink in, should I say, because you haven't got to worry about keep on dipping it in and the thickness and thinness of all the lines. It's just very, very straightforward. And because I use a smaller pen, or rather a finer pen, should we say, for the finer details, then the contrast is lovely. So I do quite like working with shepherd. I'm not opposed to it. It's just that I'm quite traditional in my use of materials. But this suits my purpose for these cartoons, and it's nice that I have a different style for virtually everything that I do. Different style for doing graphic novels than I do for comic strips, and now a different style for editorials than I do for anything else. So just a little bit of fun. See, I've just gone around the outlines here. I don't need to worry at all about the lines that sort of cross over, because they're going to be lost when the large solid areas of black come in. These being two government officials, should we say, wandering down the corridors of power. So there's the strong outlines done. Now to bring in the thinner lines, and as you can see, the contrast there is quite noticeable, particularly with the skirting board there, and it'll be just as noticeable when it comes to putting in the eyes and any creases and folds that are required, although not a great deal in this, because, as I say, their outfits are going to be solid black when they're finally coloured in. We'll be coming close to the end of this now pretty soon, so I suppose I've just got to say the usual. Subscribe and share like a mad demon if you can. The more people see what it is that I do, then hopefully the more I can build this particular site. If you know anyone who'd be interested and would like to learn a bit more about how a cartoon is produced and how a cartoonist thinks, I guess, send them along to me and I shall mess with their innocent little minds. Right, but yeah, please do subscribe and keep coming back. I should be doing a series of Christmas illustrations soon, Christmas single panels. Hopefully that will be very enjoyable for you. And all that's left on here now is for the lettering, which will come in a minute, and I shall keep quiet until that happens. Now with the lettering, I just roughed it out wherever it needs to go. I don't use the guidelines that other cartoonists do. And I've gone straight into the words that need to be bolder, and I've lettered that with the Sharpie. And the thinner writing is just done with one of the finer pens. That's all. So there's not a great deal of cleverness or clever sciences, cartoon sciences going on here. It's just pretty much thick pen for the words that need bringing out, and a thinner pen for everything else. Don't use the guidelines. I like it to be fresh. Everything is a lot fresher if it's all just drawn straight offhand. Try not to think too much about it and just get it out of there. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you come back to see more of my cartoons in the future. Thank you very much.